Hey everybody, Stephen Bogren here from Pro Physique, and today I'm going to talk about where to start your diet.
My name is Steven, and this is our video about health and fitness things. And I work for Pro Physique, and I am just a guy with a fitness thing for you.
Hey everyone, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Welcome back. Took a little hiatus for birthday and just some travel stuff, but trying to get back to it on that YouTube grind. So I hope you all had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, stayed safe, and are doing well. But today, summer's kind of here already, guys. And we're like, oh, I forgot my summer body. But some of us are now like, okay, well, it's time to diet. It's time to like try and do something to be a little bit healthier, to maybe get my body comp where I want it to be, and to improve on maybe some of my fitness stuff, some of my fitness things. So it is important for us to talk about where we should start a diet, because it's gonna be a little bit different for everyone. And I wanna start for those of you who maybe are like new to this whole fitness thing, to the lifestyle stuff. You're like, well, where do I start? Well, normally the first place I like to start is being consistent. Just being consistent with your dietary intakes, with your habits, with your food choices, those kinds of things. Setting a nice baseline for us to be able to then start looking at things to say, okay, well, where could we make some changes? Where can we improve? And where can we start to make positive progress? Because for those of us who maybe don't know anything or haven't been trying, it can be as easy as simply swapping out food sources and maybe focusing on getting more protein in during the day. And that can help with our hunger signaling. It's harder to store as body fat, helps us to build more muscle, and we can see some really nice improvements just from maybe focusing on eating more protein. And maybe in a roundabout way, that helps us to eat less of maybe some of the other more calorie-dense foods that are gonna give us higher, calorie intake, create a surplus, for what we like to call it, where we're gaining weight, or to where we're maintaining weight because we have all those extra calories, right? So for some of us, it might simply just be starting to pay attention. Because once we start to pay attention, oftentimes we also start to make different choices there. We start choosing healthier foods, more nutrient-dense stuff, more vegetables, more fruits, things that are gonna be micronutrient dense. They're gonna give us more volume of food for the calories that we're eating, keep us fuller, and in doing so, we lower that calorie intake. Hey, that can be absolutely fine, and that's a great place to start. So maybe we don't need to overcomplicate it. Maybe we just need to be a little bit more mindful of what we put on our plate, and that's awesome. However, I wouldn't stop there, because then we want to start learning what that nutrition means and what it does. It might be just counting calories, it might be counting protein and total calories, it might be learning what carbs, fats, proteins, and all those other things do. That way we understand the impact that those things are having on our body, and we're now becoming more empowered about how to manage our own nutrition. Well, now we know, wow, I'm at 400 carbs. I could probably cut down to like 330 or be more aggressive and cut down to 300 carbs and see some progress. And just manage my food choices and my portion sizes, and we're gonna be good. Oh wow, my fats are really low. They're only at 30. Maybe I want a little bit more fats for digestion and for, healthy hormones and to make sure that my body just feels good. Okay, cool. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm only getting 70 grams of protein a day. Is that enough for me? These are all great questions to answer and things that we can start to answer if we're now paying attention to where our food is going. So the second thing would just be tracking food. Doing something, whether it's MyFitnessPal, FitDay, My Macros Plus, whatever app, whatever management tool you like to use, starting to pay attention. It's like starting to know how much money is in our bank account. How much can we spend and how much do we need to save? It doesn't mean we have to have a ton of emotion tied into what we're doing for our food logs, what we're doing for our nutrition, but it does mean we want to have some semblance of accountability and knowledge base for how we manage that. Now, some of you are like, all right, well, Steven, you know what? I'm already tracking, I'm already doing those things. I kind of have a good idea. So where do I start? Well, again, it all depends where you're based off of. For some of us, it might be as simple as just getting really consistent with our calories or continuing to be consistent with our calories. And if we've been inactive, if we're not getting a lot of steps in the day, we're not getting up, we're not moving, we're not talking with our hands, it might just mean some more activity. We might be able to utilize something as simple as a step count, increasing our steps maybe 2,000 or 3,000 a day from where we've been at, having more movement in the day, that's more calorie expenditure, and we might be able to see some positive improvement in terms of body composition and the scale just from getting more steps, just from more walking, more movement. And that can be a great place to start. Now we can also utilize that same kind of thought process and add more cardio. Yes, we can also add more cardio. And that can be structured cardio like, hey, we're gonna go do incline walking on a treadmill, we're gonna use a recumbent bike, we're gonna go out for a bicycle ride or a walk or a hike, whatever it might be, the elliptical that works for you. The important thing here, works for you. Typically speaking, I would try and do something that I enjoy more so than something that I hate. That way we're having some semblance of motivation to do it. When we can have that like intrinsic, like, you know what, I really like going out for bicycle rides. Well, I'm more inclined to actually do that, which means I'm more inclined to be successful at completing that task and getting my weight loss. Well, yeah, that's awesome. So, okay, cool. Well, Steven, I already do that. I work out and I lift weights too, because working out and lifting weights, obviously another great way to do it. What do I do? I've been doing this. This is my lifestyle. Well, at that point, we probably need to do something like cutting calories, affecting our nutrition, and increasing either output via steps or output via cardio. Now, obviously, output via cardio is easy. You know, it's pretty easy to go in, and if we're doing no structured cardio, start doing cardio 4 days a week, half an hour a day, right? Maybe 2.5 hours of total cardio for the week. Cool. We've increased our deficit through that cardio. We're now burning some more calories through the cardio. And we can supplement that with a less aggressive calorie cut. Typically, a lot of people are going to do a 20 to 25% calorie cut right out of the gates. I like to try and do that 20 to 25% calorie cut through a mixture of both activity and food. Simply because food is such a psychological impactor. If my food goes from a lot to a little bit, I'm really feeling that. And I think that we see that for a lot of us when we do like those really tough crash diets, when we go from just our normal eating habits to like this 1,000-calorie diet, and all of our food is cut in half or slashed, and all of our food choices are changed. Wow, yeah, it's tough. I would have a tough time with that. If you changed everything that I was doing overnight, I would find that difficult. So the reason that I like to pair it is because it allows us to make a less aggressive cut. So maybe we still stay around that 20% calorie cut, but we supplement that with some cardio and some movement. That can also keep us a little bit happier, can get some endorphins going, and that calorie cut is now manageable. It's now doable. The important thing that when we're talking about calorie cuts that we want to remember though, first and foremost, I never cut calories from protein. Protein is pretty much going to stay stable. And for most people, I have protein higher than the RDA because of the fact that one, it keeps you satiated and full, and two, it makes it easier to get enough protein in each meal to build muscle from your nutrition and to space it out so that you can do so, because you do have to get enough protein in, complete protein in at each meal to say, okay, let's build muscle. And it also keeps us fuller. It's just a little bit heavier in the stomach. Of course, it does have the added benefit of it has a higher thermic effect. So it's harder to store it as body fat than say something like carbs and or fats. So that's good news. But the big thing is it really helps us to just stay consistent and adherent to the diet without giving us the extra calories easily stored as body fat. So typically speaking, where I'm going to cut those calories from are carbohydrates and fats, making sure that obviously I don't go under my threshold on fats. My bottom line is 35. I don't like to go below 40 if possible. So we'll keep fats a little bit higher. That's gonna be a little bit higher for men. For guys, I try and keep them around 45, 50 if possible. Again, probably being 40 as my bottom end for males. And then for carbohydrates, as long as we have the room to work with, technically you can bring carbs down as much as you'd want. However, for most guys, I find under 200 is pretty difficult. And for most females, I find anything under 100 tends to be really difficult to manage. There's going to be a certain point where if you cut calories too much, it actually does you more harm than good because you stop getting all that movement that we talked about earlier. So you do want to be aware of that in terms of how you're feeling and your biofeedback, your biological feedback, but work your way there. Make a little bit bigger of a cut at first 20% or so. And then all you have to do is now moderate that as weight loss starts to slow. So that's my advice on where to start a diet. I hope it helps. Y'all have a wonderful day.